Thanks for joining me for another edition of Grew with Portia. I'm your host, Portia Booker, and yes, this is my real name. Grew with Portia targets those who are curious, eager, and hungry for new information that can aid in their personal and professional development. Malcolm X once said, "Education is the passport to the future, for tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today." Never stop learning. Be a sponge for the rest of your life. Before I jump into my topic for today, I want to start off with a little history lesson. Thanks for joining me again in the studio, Miss Ashley Bakewell from It's Just Lunch Cleveland. Welcome, Ashley.
Hi, thank you for having me again. I'm excited.
I know, me too. Just a nice introduction to Valentine's Day weekend. I know several people probably have a lot of plans already. A coworker of mine said that a lot of the restaurants are booked, and I said, well, you got to plan for that in advance. I'm sure that most people, when they know Valentine's Day is rolling around, they probably make their reservations around Christmas time.
Yes, they should get ahead of the game. Absolutely.
Yes. So February is the month of love and romance, right? It's no surprise that it's designated for National Creative Romance Month. Psychologists tell us dating is vital to a relationship. A date is not something to be tolerated or suffered through. Dating should be fun and pleasure for both parties. Psychologists also stress the importance of trying new and different things to boost relationships to become more romantic and fun. Maybe a surprise getaway is a great way to get your partner excited about some alone time. Or maybe a movie night is a great way to bring some romance back into the relationship. There's always the drive-in movie theater in Kent. I think it's called Midday. I haven't been there in a long time, but that's always fun. And then, maybe take them to dinner, of course, the common ones. But yeah. So, Ashley, you're familiar with the 5 love languages, right?
Yes.
Words of affirmation, acts of service, receiving gifts, quality time, and physical touch. What would you say is your love language?
Mine for myself?
Yes.
Yeah, I would say, I think quality time, for sure. I think all of the 5 love languages are very important. But I think mine personally would be quality time, for sure.
Okay. Mine, believe it or not, I think mine would have to be receiving gifts or words of affirmation. And the reason why I say that is because I'm somebody who likes to, I'm kind of cheesy and old fashioned. I like those handwritten love letters.
Yes.
A little story that, a lot of people know about me. At one point in my life, I was dating a Marine. I won't mention his name on air, but, if he's listening, he knows who he is. I met him before he deployed, and, I had the opportunity to go to his graduation and at Paris Island and, spend time with his family. Well, while he was at boot camp, he wrote me letters. And he tried to be cute because he knows that I'm a writer and I love poetry. So he wrote me a poem in one of his letters. And, I laugh about it because his grammar was horrible. So my eyeball starts twitching when I see bad grammar. But the fun and cute part about the one letter he sent me is that he said, "You are the half to make me whole, and I wouldn't have it any other way."
Oh, I love that. That's so sweet.
And, even though me and him are not together anymore, but I always think about that. When I think back on those letters, and on occasion I run into them, it doesn't make me sad. I appreciate the relationship that we had, the time that we spent together, because it makes me appreciate that experience of being in a relationship like that and being loved unconditionally, and even the distance didn't destroy what we had.
Yes, absolutely. I love that. That's really sweet. And that's something, you're going to remember that forever, right?
Yes.
I mean, maybe another man will send you that, but, regardless
right.
of you, regardless of you being in a relationship or not, those little things that we don't see that a lot anymore, but those things are really important. So a lot of times I am encouraging my clients to do those special things. Go out of your way. Send the flowers. Write a nice little Post-it note. All those little things, they really, really mean a lot.
Yeah, for me, I'm somebody who enjoys those little sentimental things. Like I said, I'm a collector of letters. I remember I wrote a letter to the boy of my dreams when I was in the 6th grade. And believe it or not, I ran into all of my old diaries and I found the letter along with my diary with the picture of me and this boy in it from our 8th grade graduation.
Oh my gosh, I bet that was fun to read.
I just smacked myself in the face really? Did I really just come across this? And it makes me laugh all the time because I'm just thinking, oh my God, I was such a hopeless romantic. I mean, I laugh at it all the time. But like I said, I appreciate those types of things. I'm a letter person. I'm better at communicating through letters and words than sometimes verbally to people. Mm-hmm. So those are always fun. Another interesting find is that my ex, who was in the Marines, he bought us matching rings. And for some reason, I thought I gave him back, but I found those too. I said, oh, okay, I guess I did keep them. Well, I can't wear either of them. Not because, we're not together or anything and I have no issue with it, but the ring he bought me was too small, mm-hmm. and the ring he has is too big. So it's but they're really cute. You know how you get your class ring from high school? It's the sterling silver or
right, yeah.
With the school crest on it and stuff. It looks similar. Except it has the Marine emblem on the front with the red stone in the back, and then on the right it has the Marine Corps established date in November. So I said, wow.
Oh, that's sweet. And it's the thought that counts, right? I have, before my grandma passed away, it's a little off topic, but she has lots of grandchildren. So they had 6 children, so lots and lots of grandchildren and great-grandchildren. And she was giving out her jewelry, and she had given me a ring, really pretty ruby ring,
mm-hmm.
Gold, nothing too special. But I remember when she gave it to me, she hesitated and she looked at me and she whispered, she said, "This was from my first boyfriend. Don't tell your grandpa." And I laughed so hard. She kept it all those years, and they got married at 20. So this was her boyfriend when she was, 16 or 17. So
wow.
I just thought it was so funny.
Ooh-wee. Grandma just holding out a secret, huh?
Yep.
Wow. Huh. That'll probably be me if I ever have kids and I become a grandma. If I have a daughter or something, I'll be like, oh, this is a ring from my first boyfriend. Right. Or these are love letters. They're not from your father.
Right. They're great memories, though. They're great memories of, being in love at some point. And I think those are always memories you should hang on to.
I agree. Ashley, since we're kind of on the topic of love, what is your definition of love?
My definition of love, this is a great question. So I would say, happiness is mm-hmm. really, I don't know if I have a specific definition, but I think when I think of love, I think of being happy and smiling, and I think of communication. I think of sharing really great new experiences. I think of being supportive. I think of a sparkle in somebody's eye and all those romantic things. And love can be so many different things to mm-hmm. so many different people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just like the love languages, right? Something that's important to you versus what's important to me when it comes to love is going to be different. And just for everybody, it's going to be different how they view love. But I definitely think love is it's the most important thing that we can do in our whole life.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. And love saves all. You know, love for me is doing something for somebody and not expecting anything in return, doing it out of your heart. Because to me, when you really love somebody, you do it no matter what. You don't ask for anything.
Right.
It comes naturally. That's how love works for me. And it's supposed to be happy, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, how can you, I guess, really be in love or love somebody if you're not happy, you know?
Exactly. And I hear that a lot. You know, I work with a lot of clients here at It's Just Lunch sometimes where they thought that maybe they were in a very healthy, loving, great relationship. And then, you know, it ended. And then they get into another relationship and they're like, whoa, I didn't even know what love was until I met this guy or this woman. So, you know, I think people get really, clouded in love sometimes, and it can cause them to do silly things. So I think that's important to watch out for. But I guess my point is, you know, love does mean so many different things to so many different people. But happiness and healthiness for you and yourself and you both living your best lives is really important.
Yes. Living your best life. That's what it's all about. I mean, because I feel like love it's an adventure, right?
It is.
I mean,
it's a fun adventure.
Yes.
It can be very fun. And don't get me wrong, it can be challenging. I mean, every relationship is going to have its ups and downs. Every single one of them. There's no relationship that is smooth sailing for, you know, the next 35 years. It's just not going to happen. But it's how you approach those things, how you resolve those things, how you handle them. Are you handling them together as a team, teamwork? Are you being supportive and loving and motivating? You know, all of those things come into play in a relationship, in a healthy, happy relationship.
Right, and I think challenging is part of the fun too. You know, I think a lot of people, when they encounter those relationship hurdles and humps, that's when they kind of want to throw in the towel. But it goes back to, if you really love this person, you won't give up on them. Or at least you put in, you know, 100% until, you know, when I'm sure that most people know when it's over. But for the most part, you give as much as you can to it. I don't know.
Yeah, you have to. No, I agree.
Yeah. I mean, you know, I'm trying to be patient about my next relationship. You know, like I said, you know, when we had our last conversation, actually, you know, I've been single about 5-6 years. And a lot of people ask me, well, how do you do it? Aren't you sad? And, you know, or my favorite question, what's wrong with you? Like, what do you mean?
I hate that question.
Like, does it have to be something wrong with me if I'm riding solo?
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, I never really understood like how or why that question came up. Like, what's wrong with you? Because you're single, you know?
You know, I don't understand it either, and I'm glad you bring this up because I work with a lot of clients here that, you know, they haven't dated, just like you. They haven't dated in you know, a few years, and this is their way of easing back out there. You know, a lot of people, you know, they want to learn how to date again in a safe, fun, casual environment with people just like them. So I think it's silly that it's a red flag in somebody's eyes where they've been single. Oh, they've been single for 8 years? Well, what's wrong with them? Why? Well, guess what they were doing while they were single? They're out there living their best lives. They're building careers. They're, you know, spending time with their family. I mean, who knows what was going on with them? You don't know. So we should never be judging somebody just by that sentence alone. So I think it's important to address. I don't think there's anything wrong with anybody that's been single. Plus, if you've been out there in the single world, it is not easy out there.
Oh, my God.
It is not. Dating, online dating these days is really challenging. Just meeting somebody anywhere. You know, I was telling the story, you know, we all want to meet somebody organically. We all want to go to Starbucks, grab our cup of coffee, and the man of our dreams walks through the door, and he asks us out, and we go on a date, and we're in love, and before we know it, we're walking down the aisle, and we're, flying into the sunset together. We all want that to happen organically. Every person wants that to happen. But the reality is, in 2020, when you're going to Starbucks, you're probably going to be on your phone the whole time, not even looking up until your coffee order is
Right.
ready. So I guess my point is, with this day and age, it's really hard to meet people, and it's really hard to meet the kind of people that you want to be meeting, that are serious about finding somebody, and that's why a lot of people hire me. They want to meet specific people with specific things they're looking for in a specific age range, that they're going to love and enjoy being around, and that have the same views and qualities as them. So I think we got to get rid of that stereotype, because it drives me nuts.
So, Ashley, let's just kind of dive in. Valentine's Day, we know, hallmark holiday, money, money, money. So why do we put so much emphasis on this holiday?
I think, Valentine's Day is a tricky time for a lot of people. And I think that, whether you just started dating or you don't know where you stand in a relationship, it can be challenging. But I think Valentine's Day is a great way to celebrate love. We should be celebrating love every day in my eyes as a matchmaker. That's what I do best here. But I think, it can be challenging for singles. It can be challenging for people in a relationship. But I think Valentine's Day is a great holiday. Matter of fact, it's one of my favorite holidays for my children and for in my relationship. So there's a lot of emphasis is because people aren't celebrating their love for one another enough. So,
yes,
here we are to celebrate it.
Well, what about those people who only use Valentine's Day as their way to celebrate love, or their only time of year doing that?
I think those people have a lot to learn in relationships, if you ask me. And I know that's easier said than done. We get so caught up in our day-to-day life, with work and kids and going to the gym and dinner and grocery shopping and what we're doing. So it's really hard sometimes to show that person that you appreciate them and you love them. So I think it's Valentine's Day is a great excuse to really show that person how much you care about them. Whether it's going to dinner or just spending time together or getting a babysitter or whatever the case is, I think Valentine's Day is a great excuse to really do those things. But I also think it's something that you should implement in your relationship every week.
Yes.
Whether that, we just talked about it earlier, like a cute little note to say I love you. I mean, even a text message throughout the day. Women love that stuff. And throw a little, smiley face emoji in there, and their heart's melting at their desk. So,
right, I know I'm guilty of it.
Or sending flowers. I mean, flowers can get expensive, but every 3 months, what's $40? It's to really that will make your woman's day. I promise you. So, I think showing that person that you love them and caring about them every week is something you should start adding to your daily schedule or list of things to do. But Valentine's Day, we can start there. What are your plans going to be? How are you going to show that person you love that you care about them? What are you going to do?
Right. Yeah. I mean, there's numerous ideas out there. And Ashley, let's back up a minute. I liked how you said Valentine's Day is one of your favorites for, not just you and your husband, also your kids as well. You guys have any special things you do?
Yeah, so with my kids, I always get them, a Valentine's Day gift. I usually wake up in the morning. I'll decorate a lot, whether it's silly little hearts or whatnot. But I'm always getting my children cute little gifts to show them that I love them. And then with my relationship, we have dinner plans we're excited about. We got a babysitter, so
right.
Yeah, so we are always doing something, and I think it's important to communicate those things. Some people don't look at Valentine's Day as being an important holiday, and that's okay. But if that is important to that special person you're with, then you got to do something. Whether
yes.
you're spending $10 at the dollar store or whatever it is, communicate it. Does it mean something to you? Do you want a gift? Do you want to do something special? Do we want a date night? What are we going to do? We always have to be compromising in our relationships, and Valentine's Day might be one of those compromises you have to make, but I promise you won't regret it.
Absolutely. Since we're kind of on the topic of cost, on average, how much do people spend on Valentine's Day gifts, Ashley, if you know?
Great question. I think people spend anywhere between, $50 to a couple $100 sometimes, depending on that extra change you have laying around. So,
right.
But I think it's not always about what you spend. Don't make it about the money. Make it about, like going back to the 5 love languages. What's important to your spouse? By this time, if you're in a relationship or you're getting to know somebody, you know some things that they like to do, whether it's go to the movies or go to the park or skiing, or they love chocolate, they love Mitchell's ice cream, whatever it is.
Right.
You're going to know these things. So keep it casual, keep it light. Being romantic in its own is a gift. So throw on your romantic shoes and get sexy a little bit.
I hear that, Ashley. I think that a lot of people, when it comes to Valentine's Day, people are pressured, whether they're single or in a relationship. So who do you think experiences more stress on Valentine's Day, Ashley? Singles or couples?
I think it can be half and half. I think for singles, it's tricky because a lot of people want to be in a relationship, right? And maybe they haven't found that special person. So they look at Valentine's Day as, not a happy holiday to enjoy.
Singles Awareness Day.
Because they want to be on a date. And actually, it's one of our most, our busiest times here at It's Just Lunch, too, is in February.
Wow.
So we're ramping up for that season. Yeah, because everybody, they want to find somebody. They want to celebrate love. And they may not have somebody to celebrate it with, so they want us to, pair them up with somebody and get them on a date. But I think for relationships, it can be challenging, too, if you're not communicating well. Again, I'm going to say it again. If you're not communicating well about Valentine's Day, it may be a stressful day for you guys. So
right.
Don't make it stressful. Talk about it. Do you want it, like I just said before, do you want a gift? What do you like? Do you guys want to make a date night of it? Is it not a big deal? Just stay in, order some Chinese, watch a movie? Is that going to make you happy? But you cannot assume your partner knows, especially if it's the first Valentine's Day and it's the beginning of a relationship. Don't ever assume, that your partner knows what you're going to like on Valentine's Day. Throw a couple hints out there, tips, or just have a conversation about it. See where it goes, and then figure it out together as a team.
Absolutely. And like you said, it goes back to communication is key. People can't read your mind. Ashley, this is kind of off topic, but I remember when I lived out of state, when I was a TV producer, I worked in the overnight shift from 11 p.m. to 7 a.m., Sunday through Thursday. Well, Valentine's Day fell on a day that I had to work during the week. I was oblivious to it being Valentine's Day because when you work overnights, you barely even know your name after the midnight hour strikes.
Right, of course.
So I had the opportunity to go on a date on Valentine's Day, but was completely oblivious to it being Valentine's Day. And it was a one date, exactly what it was. The guy was very nice. We went to this is when I lived out of state in Tulsa, Oklahoma. We went to a breakfast restaurant. Very, very good cinnamon buns, I will say that. Nice and gooey and lots of was the cinnamon on top and the frosting. Oh my God. But anyway, so, we talked a while and, somebody had walked by us and said, oh, it's time to go and pick up my flowers for my wife for Valentine's Day. And we both looked at each other like, oh, it is Valentine's Day.
That's funny.
So, in our case, neither one of us knew that it was Valentine's Day or thought about it.
That's good. I think that probably made the date way more, like, laid back, you know? You didn't have that stress of knowing, oh, man, if this is a bad date, that's going to suck. It's Valentine's Day. No, you just don't even think about it. I think that was smart.
Yeah, I mean, I literally went to the date right after I got off work. So, like, I had went to work with, like, a nice dress on and a blazer and, you know, some heels. You know, and I didn't really have to explain at my job, like, oh, who you dressed up for? Because I think most of the other people didn't realize it was Valentine's Day Eve either. So,
Right.
so it worked out, and it was just a lot of fun. And I think, you know, the moral to the story here, too, is that we know it's Valentine's Day. Don't try to pretend that it's not, but just have fun with it. You know, just communicate. Have a good time. Make those adventures, right?
Yeah, and keep it light. You know, romance can mean so many different things to different people. So manage your expectations and keep things light. Don't put too much pressure on it. You know, make decisions and take that pressure off of it and just enjoy each other and being together and celebrating that love.
Absolutely. So, Ashley, you know, there's a lot of things that people can do on Valentine's Day for their significant other, whether it's take them to dinner, you know, buy them flowers. Hey, if anybody's listening, buy me some. You know, buy them chocolates, spend a night in, you know, at home, you know, just doing something simple. But I guess what should couples not do on Valentine's Day?
What should couples not do? Don't fight, that's for sure.
Yeah.
You know, if you guys are having an argument or a disagreement, you know, the couple days before, make up. Well, you should be making up and having a conversation about it as adults anyways and resolving the issue. But I would say, you know, don't be too picky. You know, Understand it's just a day. Yes, it's a day that we celebrate love, but don't stress out about it. Like I said, keep things light, you know, go do something fun. And if you're single, go hang out with your best friend. Or get together with a group of friends that are single and go out and have a nice dinner and enjoy being single. I think being single in Cleveland is awesome. There's so many wonderful, great things to do, and I'm sure there's a lot of singles events going on in February as well. But, you know, don't mop around. Don't be sad. It's not a bad thing to be single. So I think being positive and being happy and just still continuing to live your best life. And if you hate Valentine's Day, you know, then just pretend like it's a regular old day that you go on and be happy about. So definitely just do you and be you and what you feel comfortable doing. I think it's really important to always be your best self.
Absolutely. And Ashley, you know, what about couples who may want to, on Valentine's Day, take their relationship to another level? Do you think that's like an appropriate day, or does it kind of depend?
No, I think it depends, but I don't think, you know, it can be a tricky time for those couples that just met each other or have only been dating for a short period of time, so they don't know where they stand, but then they haven't quite defined, you know, what they might mean to each other or where they're going. Are they serious? Are they exclusive? I think don't pretend you don't know it's Valentine's Day, first off. And if you want to talk about your relationship and you're comfortable doing that, fine. But, again, just because it's Valentine's Day, you know, your feelings may be feeling a little different, so don't get caught up in the emotion of Valentine's Day. And it seems like a natural time to discuss, you know, future relationships. Valentine's Day, it's not a deadline. You don't have to know if you're in a relationship with somebody on Valentine's Day. But also keep in mind, too, if you're seeing somebody, you know, and it's the beginning of the relationship and it's only been a couple weeks, and you guys are spending Valentine's Day together, I'd say that's a really, really great sign. So don't even stress about it. And if you want to commit, have that discussion when you both feel comfortable having that discussion. So I think it depends on the situation. I think it's unique to every couple.
So, Ashley, have you seen on the news like all these different places that are allowing couples to elope for free on Valentine's Day?
I must be out of the news a little bit, so no, I'm not familiar with this.
Yeah, I saw a story on the news a couple days ago where they're allowing people to elope for free at certain places on Valentine's Day. And I'm like, man, I wonder how many people are taking advantage of that.
Yes, absolutely. Save some money.
Yeah.
That's a great idea. I love that. I'm gonna do a little research on that because I think that's wonderful.
Yeah, I think it is too, especially on a day that is all about love. And I mean, you can do it for free. I think it's kind of like a speed dating thing, similar because it's quick. Because I think there's lots of people who do it. But I'm like, who came up with that? That's genius.
That is genius, and getting married is expensive. So there's a lot of people that would love to just elope, and I think that's great. I am really excited to hear that. I'm happy you shared that with me. So I'm sure a lot of people will take advantage of it. Absolutely. Why not? And go elope for free, and just go to the bar, invite your friends, and have a party.
Right. I mean, it's all about having fun, right?
Exactly.
I need to do that. I went to last year, one of my good friends from high school got married, and her wedding was Harry Potter themed. And when I say it was the cutest thing ever, even so you figure the brides and the bridesmaids, their bouquets were all of the houses of Harry Potter. They also had on Converses that matched their bouquets. Well, the groomsmen had on matching socks and handkerchiefs to their bouquets and shoes. But I think the cutest thing of it all was their vow exchange was all Harry Potter themed.
That's so cute.
Like,
I love that.
Different quotes from, like Dumbledore and some other people was included in their vows. I'm like, wow.
That's really cool.
I said, that's genius. I'm like, if I ever get married, I'll think of something. Maybe a medieval theme for me. Maybe if I get married on Halloween, a Halloween party. I don't know. I'll figure it out.
Fun. I love that. I have friends that got married that are really huge, Cleveland sports fans. And they're Browns fans, really big Cavs fans. And they did, that whole theme, too. And they did, Browns theme everywhere. They came in after the wedding into the reception with their Cavs jerseys on. They took pictures by the stadium. I mean, they got really into it, and they're such great pictures. So I think that's great. Definitely, have fun. Live your best life. Do what you want to do. I think that's so important.
Yeah. That's all what it's about, right? Living our best life, having fun, So, Ashley, we live in the age of social media, right? Everybody can see what you're doing on social media depending on how you broadcast your life and all that. So, people will see, a lot of different gifts that their friends are getting from their significant others, or, maybe family members buy their kids or so-and-so gifts. So how can people who are in relationships refrain from comparing themselves to other couples as far as gifts?
Yeah, I think, again, it's all about the expectations that you're putting not only on yourself, but on your relationship when it comes to Valentine's Day. If you're not communicating what you're wanting out of Valentine's Day with your boyfriend or girlfriend, and you're disappointed in the outcome, and you're on social media, and you're seeing something, a friend got that you wish you would have got. I mean, I think it's silly. Everybody's relationship's different, and everybody is, like I said before, keep it light. We shouldn't ever be comparing ourselves to relationships and to social media and to celebrities, and stay away from that. I mean, none of that is a good habit to be in. So I
Right.
would say just stay away from thinking that way. You know, if you're setting up good expectations in your relationship and what you want out of Valentine's Day, or as being single, you know, if you have, if you're single and you know, hey, Valentine's Day is coming up, what am I going to do? You know, I really, you know, I'm sad. I want to be in a relationship. What am I going to do? Plan something with your friends and stay off social media if you know those things are going to bother you.
Yeah.
You know, you have to, and put out, I think one of the biggest things I stress to a lot of my clients here at It's Just Lunch is you're going to put out what you want to get. You know, if you're putting out a good vibe, I talk about vibration so much. If you're putting out a good vibe and happiness and love and giving and caring and being positive, if in knowing, I think this is important too, knowing that someday you are going to find that person. You may not know when that is. Your person might walk through your door in 2 months from now, or it might be a year or two down the road. But if you believe that you're going to meet that person and you believe and you're putting out what you want to get in return, you're going to get it. It's going to come your way. So make those plans on Valentine's Day with your best friend. Do what makes you happy. And if you're not taking action, massive action on your dating life, because like we talked about it earlier, you know, you have to, it's not going to happen organically these days. It might, but I don't know when that's going to happen, and good luck with that. But take some action on your dating life. And if you don't know how to do that, then call me, because I can absolutely help with that.
Yeah, and Ashley, you know, since we're on that, you know, if one of our listeners was, you know, interested, like you said, in potentially being a client of It's Just Lunch Cleveland, can you provide the phone number and maybe the website as well?
Yes, so you can reach us at 216-328-9028, and you can also go to itsjustlunchcleveland.com. You'll fill in your name and your phone number, and we'll reach out to you at your convenience.
Thank you, Ashley. You know, I hope that, you know, one of our listeners, you know, definitely reaches out to you. I mean, you know, I've been riding, like I said, solo for about 5 or 6 years, and sometimes it does get quite lonely sometimes. I will admit I'm very transparent, but, you know, one of the things that keeps me going is knowing that there has to be somebody out there for me, you know. I may have not have met them yet, you know, kind of like, was that song by Michael Bublé, I Just Haven't Met You Yet?
Yeah, love that song. Great song.
You know, so I just try to keep my hope alive. I try not to put too much stress into wanting a relationship. You know, I tell my friends a lot that there's a difference between want and need. Like, I don't need to be in a relationship, but I want to, you know. I don't need somebody to be with me. I want that company, you know. And I think a lot of people get that confused. They think that need and want is the same thing when it comes to a relationship, and it's not.
Absolutely. I think I'm glad you bring this up, because I think a lot of people really need to be happy with what's going on in their life and happy inside themselves, you know, where they're at. I mean, look at yourself in the mirror. You know, are you where you want to be? Are you happy with your job and your career? Are you a positive person? Are you like that vibration? Are you putting out good vibes? You know, if you're doing all those things, it for sure is going to come your way. And you need to take some action on it, whether that is online dating for you, or it's hiring a matchmaker, or it's switching up your routine. That's a great tip I give a lot of my clients too. You know, you typically follow the same routine every day, right? Or every week, I should say.
Right.
You know, you're going to work, you're going home, you're going to the same grocery store, the same gym, the same Metro Park for a walk, the same Starbucks. Switch it up, because you're just seeing the same people.
Right.
Switch that routine up. Switch it up a little bit. Go to a different park, or go to that Starbucks across the street instead, or whatever that is for you. Switch up your routine. That's how you're going to meet new people, and be aggressive with it. And I don't mean aggressive as a bad word. I mean aggressive in make yourself known you're single and you want to meet somebody. If a guy opens the door for you, look him in the eyes and say, "Thank you so much. How are you today?" Start talking to him. I mean, you gotta expand and kind of what's the word I'm looking for? You gotta put yourself out there more to meet somebody. So, and take some action. If you're not taking action, you may not meet that person. So start thinking about what you can do differently to start meeting or seeing new people.
Absolutely. And, Ashley, we may have to do another show on, like pickup lines when you're out in public, trying to meet somebody, if you're not a fan of doing the whole online dating or, using a matchmaker like yourself, just trying to quote unquote wing it yourself. We may need to do a show on that as well.
Yeah. I mean, just be smiling. I mean, if you look happy and approachable, people are going to approach you. But if you have that face that nobody wants to see and you look mad and you're frustrated or you're busy, and people aren't going to approach you. Smile more. Make eye contact. I make it a habit every day when I'm walking through the office. I'm always saying hi or walking down the hallway. And just you put out those things because you're going to get a lot more in return if you just make that one change, I promise.
Yeah. Don't have the grumpy cat face on.
Right, exactly.
The infamous grumpy cat. Just, be happy. I guess that's the best word to put it. If you're actively or, wanting to pursue or want a relationship, you have to be happy internally.
Yes, for sure.
And I think that is another thing that people who are single struggle with. They're not all the way happy with themselves yet. And they want a relationship, but it's kind of like you want something, but you're not prepared for it. Right. Like you want that dream career job, but you don't have all of the skills. You don't have all of the training. You don't have all of the knowledge, Right.
You got to work hard to get there in that job. Just like in a relationship, you have to work on yourself and be happy with yourself as a person to really, really to attract that happy, healthy relationship.
Thank you again, Ashley, for joining me and giving our listeners some survival tips for Valentine's Day and, just being available for me to give our listeners some hope out here.
Oh, I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
So, Ashley, Valentine's Day is coming up. Maybe there's some listeners who may have not have made plans just yet, but are looking for something to do. What are some things that are going on in Cleveland for Valentine's Day weekend?
Yeah, great question. So remember, focus on doing, not money, not spending money. Doing something fun and making a great memory is, always way better than spending money. But quality time together, not expensive gifts, maybe going to dinner. Is there a winery that just opened up or a brewery? Keep it casual. Do you guys want some wings and beer? Go for it.
I hear that.
But if there's a place you haven't been to, make that reservation. Go there. Hop on the RTA. Take a trip to the West Side Market. I don't know. Pick up some, flowers or go grab some Mitchell's ice cream on Ohio City. Town Hall's always a great spot to go to as well. And the Botanical Garden. That's a really romantic, fun spot. I've been there a few times with my significant other, and I love going there. So a lot of couples get engaged there, as a matter of fact. But if you're looking to do something fun outdoors, there's a Medina Ice Festival that kicks off, I think, on Valentine's Day.
Oh, wow.
Which has a lot of cool stuff to do. Top Golf just opened up in Independence.
That's right.
Make a reservation, go play some golf, have some appetizers. Like I said, keep it simple. Do things you like doing, or go somewhere you haven't been to before. Dinner and a movie is always great too. I think there's a few good movies coming out around that time. So there's a lot of things to do. Cleveland's a really great city, especially, and it can be very romantic in Cleveland. So, do a quick Google search on what you're into, and I'm sure you'll find something you guys can both enjoy together.
Ashley, I agree with you. Cleveland does have some very romantic spots. One of my favorite spots in Cleveland when me and, my ex, the Marine, were together, how you go down to the flats, going towards the aquarium, and there's that right after you go under, across the bridge, that little street where you can see downtown Cleveland from like a lower angle. You can take beautiful pictures down there. I've taken.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
That is one of my favorite spots to go to, and
great spot.
Me and my ex went there several times, and like that was our spot. Like I literally felt like we were conquering the world standing there. And the night that we went there one time, it just happened to be a lightning storm, and I got a picture of a lightning bolt behind Tower City.
Oh, that's so cool. I love that.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite spots. Also, East 4th Street, especially at night, when the lights are on.
I was just going to say that. Yeah, there's so many nice places to dine out or just grab a cocktail, whatever you guys want to do. But also great area to take some cute pics, to post on social media, because I know we love doing that. So, yeah, East 4th's a great spot to hit up, too. There's so many fun things and cool places you can go to around there.
Yeah, and don't forget about Little Italy. That's my backyard.
Yep, exactly. Yep, that's always a great romantic spot. Make sure you make some reservations early, though. Don't forget to make those.
All right, you're going to be outside disappointed.
Right, exactly. Be prepared. Prepare yourself for Valentine's Day and have a plan, because you don't want to be stuck waiting 3 hours for a dinner reservation, because trust me, it will happen if you are not ready for this holiday and you haven't made that reservation. Right.
Absolutely. So, Ashley, I just kind of want to get one last tip for, people who are single. A lot of people call Valentine's Day Singles Awareness Day. I used to call it that too when I was grumpy about, I don't have anybody. It's another year riding solo. So how can we change the dynamic that Valentine's Day is only for couples?
Oh, this is a great question. So change the dynamic, I think, be happy about you being single. We talked a lot of, the happiness has come up a lot in this call, in this
conversation.
And I think, in the conversation. Thank you. But I think that, if somebody is saying something to you about, making you feel down about Valentine's Day, say, no, I'm happy. I got plans with my friends. We're going out to have a great dinner. We're going to have fun. We're going dancing afterwards. Maybe I'll meet somebody. Maybe I won't, but I'm so excited to hang out with my friends. So I think, I'm not sure how to get rid of that stereotype specifically, but I think in your own head, you can easily do that. Make it fun. Do what you want to do on this day. And if you don't know how to look for a relationship, or you're ready to find somebody, but what you're doing right now isn't working, then maybe you need to take a different avenue. Whether that's switching up your routine, calling a matchmaker, calling us here at It's Just Lunch, or, doing some online dating. Get out there. Do what you have to do, because, you don't want to sit here dwelling. And we're not getting any younger, right? So
right.
I think for Valentine's Day, if you have specific goals, relationship goals, start them. It's never too late. And, take some action on that dating life.
Yeah. I mean, it goes back to being happy internally. If you're not already happy, how can you make somebody else happy if there's a part of you that is unhappy?
Right.
Exactly. And, I think Valentine's Day, it's hard to really understand it, especially in today's society where you can see everything. Because of social media. You see your friends getting engaged. You see your friends having big life changes. So it's almost like, well, dang, where's my big life change? It goes back to the comparison.
Yeah, and I think there are other people in your life that you can show love to.
Yes.
When you're single on this day, you don't have to look at your life and refocus on being single and putting that attention on that. Show family, friends, coworkers you care about them. Volunteer, do some charity work.
I was just going to say that too.
Kindness. Yeah, do something that makes you happy and makes others happy. And I think, you'll feel just fine and you'll go to bed happy.
Yeah. And I think the key thing too, if you're single, show yourself love. Exactly.
Yep. Go do a spa day. Go get a pedicure. Get a facial. Have a massage. Go to dinner. Treat yourself to a lobster tail.
Right.
Do those things for yourself. That's so important. It's important for everybody in relationships and being single. But yeah, I think that's a great way. That's a great idea.
Yeah, show yourself love. You know what? I did just this past week. I bought myself a late Christmas present. I bought myself a drone, and I'm super excited to use it. Yeah, I mean, I feel like, more than likely that's what I'm going to do. Especially since I'm riding solo, I'm going to have fun.
Yeah, exactly. Yep, I think that's a great idea. So if you're single, you don't have plans, go book that spa day. Go spend some money on yourself and embrace and, showing other people in your life love too.